I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and welcome to the video tutorial for making your cute Snowman Block 5 of the Christmas Lane quilt using your embroidery machine. So you have all your prefused laser cut applique pieces ready to go. You have your background fabric starched and pressed, and now you've loaded a white thread in your machine. You'll load the embroidery file and prompt for the first step, which is a line at the top and bottom of your hoop to help guide your placement. What you're going to do is put your hoop right on top of your Steady Betty or in front of the surface of your embroidery machine, and you're going to take your piece of fabric, center it in the hoop, and then make sure your fabric is extending past the two stitch lines, which again will give you way more fabric than you need. So you will then tape it into place. We'll continue with the white thread for several steps, and when we put this back on, the machine is going to stitch these two lines again, which is going to hold our fabric in place and ultimately help us when we go to trim our block at the end, and your machine will give us your first applique outlines. Okay, so now you have your first round of applique pieces, and you'll follow your pattern and place your pieces down in numerical order. So up first, we're gonna put pieces 1, 3, and 4, and 16. So on piece number 1, and on all of the white pieces on this block, you have 2 of the exact same piece, and that is so your white is double lined. So what you'll do is put one piece down in place, and then you'll follow up with a second piece right on top of it. Now I'm gonna remove my tape before I keep ironing because I do not want to iron on it and get my iron sticky. So your piece is gonna line up directly with that stitched line on the bottom, and then you're just gonna make sure that you have the curvy part of your piece lined up as well. So give this a press all the way across. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the second piece. And you'll see once we put that second piece, a lot more of the background fabric fades away. So it gives you that crisper white look, or on any light colored piece, having 2 of them hides the background for you. Fun trick for any project you're doing. And now we're gonna put the 2 Snowmen Arms in place. And with these, you'll just make sure it's in place on all the little pokey parts of his arm. And then work your way up with the iron and over. There we go. All right. There we go. And now the heart. It's really fun to build the applique units in the hoop. I love doing this. It makes it so easy. And then watching it stitch is also really fun when we get to the buttonhole stitching. So we're gonna keep that white thread on our machine, put our hoop back on, and proceed to the next step. Okay, and on this step, we're gonna now put down pieces 2, 5, and 6. And we wanna make sure that we do it in numerical order, of course, because they over and underlap. So first up will be the 2 white pieces. So the bottom of our snowman has big old belly. And so we will put this right in place. Make sure you have it in place before you iron. On big pieces, they kind of take a second to get in place. And that looks perfect. And so there we go. Give it a press all the way around. And now the second piece of the white right over it, like so. Now the next piece that we line up, piece number 5, you are going to make sure specifically that you have it nice and lined up with this line around there. So let's get this little guy in place. And once you have it in place there, it'll be in place everywhere along the bottom. All right, just give yourself some time to get that in place. Whoop, there we go. And then I'm just gonna work my way over it like I do on all the pieces. There we go, easy peasy. Now we're gonna put on piece number 6, which is his shirt. It says peacock, the color. I like it. It's very fun, very bright and festive. I love this color with Christmas, don't you? It's fun. See how it just like adds some whimsy. And then we'll iron this little guy right into place. So again, proceed with your white thread to your next step and we'll continue building out our snowman. Okay, so now we have our next round of applique outlines. Again, you're gonna do it numerically. We are going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 12 and 15. So let's grab these stars. These are super cute. I forgot what this, I think that they actually call this a flower print, if I believe. It's a Lori Holt print. And it's kind of like a square flower type print. If it's like, I don't know, I guess you can call it a flower. I believe they call it that. I might be wrong. Nonetheless, it's an adorable Lori Holt fabric, as are most of the fabrics in this quilt. So get your little star lined up just so. And again, give it a press. And this star lines up perfectly with the edge of the shirt on your snowman, so he's easy to get in place. I love when pieces line up just perfectly, don't you? And you can see I just dragged my iron, so I messed up the point on my star, but I can iron it back in place. See how I dragged my iron and I shouldn't have, and so I bent my piece, but it goes right back in place. Now we have the head of our snowman. There are two pieces exactly alike. It's not a perfect oval, so see there's like a little bit where it's kind of crooked right here. You're just gonna make sure you line that up in the right spot, and the crooked goes at the top. So get this piece perfectly in place and press it. Again, pick up your iron, don't drag it. When I drug it, I messed it up. So make sure, do as I say, not as I do sometimes, right? And again, press that second piece. Now we will give him a hat. So fun. Make sure it lines up over here and then around this curve, just barely overlapping onto your snowman's head. And then of course the pom-pom on his hat, a festive fall or a festive Christmas hat for the winter, isn't complete without a pom-pom, is it? I love it. Alrighty, so now we have one more round of applique outlines that are gonna stitch in this next step, and that is for the stripes on the hat and of course our carrot nose. Okay, so now we have those outlines, easy peasy for the last step of our applique unit building in the hoop. We'll put our nose right in place. And then we have our two stripes of our hat. And the edges are gonna line up perfectly with the edge of the hat. So make sure you get it in place. There we go. Perfect, and now this one. Perfect. There we go, so we have built our entire snowman in the hoop, and now it's time for the fun part of watching the machine do all of the stitching for you. So we're gonna go through our colors. I'm gonna take my hoop on and off so I can discuss the color changes with you and point out what was stitched or about to stitch. But for you at your embroidery machine, you can leave your hoop on all the way until the very last step when you take it off. So the first color change that we are gonna do is our 1095, this really fun turquoise color. And the machine is going to stitch your snow so that it pops out from the background fabric around his face, and then of course any of the turquoise pieces on your project. Oh my goodness, y'all, look at this stitching on this white. I absolutely love the way this turquoise stitching looks. It really makes your snowman just come alive and pop off that background fabric. I love, love, love it. This color today is just beautiful to me. So now we are going to load the 1130 brown, and your machine is going to do the cute buttonhole stitch on both of your snowman arms. So now your little snowman has arms, and it is time to do some decor on him with the 1833 pumpkin pie. And the machine will stitch the pom-pom on the hat, his nose, your 3 stars, and then the base of his shirt. All right, take a look at your orange stitching. It looks so good. Now it is time, oh, I have a thread to trim. I always like to trim my threads before I show you my stitching, but I forgot that one. So now we are going to load our butterfly gold, because a block would not be complete without butterfly gold. I feel we use this color all the time, this and avocado. So the machine is going to stitch on the little stripes on your hat. Okay, can we talk about how adorable the little stitches are on the stripe? So right here, I actually took the bite end down all the way to a 1.8 because if I would have left it at the same length of the 2.5 on these, it would have completely just interlocked all of your stitches and you wouldn't see the fabric. It would just almost shredded the fabric. So I took the stitch length down so small, and oh my gosh, is it not adorable? I'm really happy with it. So now the final step of our embroidery process is to load the black thread, and our little snowman is going to get 2 eyes and a mouth and come to life. Ta-da! Your little snowman is all done. It's time to take him out of the hoop and trim him. You'll use your placement guide that comes in your pattern. This line right here is your top and bottom trim line. And then you will use that to help, the placement guide will help you measure your 8 inches out on the sides to trim. So let's take a look from top to bottom, close up of our stitching. And I would have to say it just looks adorable as can be, doesn't it? I hope that you enjoyed making your snowman block, and I can't wait to make the next block with you. Happy stitching!